Yes! A new dragon movie! We're going 3 for 3, 2 for 3 this year. It's got glowing reviews from the audience, everyone seems to love it. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, wait, that was it? Huh. Right then.
And watch your step.
So Wish Dragon is a new movie that dropped on Netflix not too long ago, and it's been on my watch list alongside Raya and the Last Dragon ever since I heard about it. I was quite surprised to see Sony Pictures, the same studio behind the Emoji Movie, are involved in this project. I mean, we can only go up from here, right? Wish Dragon takes place in modern China, where two childhood friends are separated, and Din, our main character, aspires to rekindle that friendship again. But then he comes across Longzhu, an all-powerful wish dragon inside a teapot, who just wants to serve a final master so he can be allowed into heaven, and antics ensue. So I'll save most of my overall thoughts on this for the conclusion, but really, what you see is what you get with this film. If you've seen the trailer, you know exactly what you're getting into. I will admit here, I've actually had to rewrite this entire script again, because in the first draft I just came across a bit too bitter and harsh. But really, there's no way of sugarcoating my feelings here. This movie kinda disappointed me. Oh boy. Now, before I go any further, I just want to clarify that I am not hating on this film. There's plenty of reasons why I can see people loving this, and if you enjoy this movie yourself, good for you. I'm happy you could find something in it that I could not, and if I make a mistake in this review or you think my points can be disputed, then please leave a comment down below, because I'd love to actually be proven wrong about the issues I have with this film. Let's get a discussion going, and if I find some good arguments, I'll make a follow-up video addressing them. But for now, just hear me out on my thoughts and try to take them into consideration. Because like Din says in this movie, I just have to be honest. This movie is not as good as everyone led me to believe it is. But hey, I mean, I'd still rather watch this movie over Dragon Rider any day. Hell, I'd rather watch Pixie Dragons over that piece of shit. Oh, and I'm just gonna address this here real quick, but I've actually crowned that movie as the literal worst thing I've ever seen. So if I ever make a video about it, it's likely that it'll be profoundly negative, and I'll only do that video if enough people want to see me go over it, because let me tell you, it's gonna be rough, and it's not gonna be pretty. So let's go over the positives of Wish Dragon before I explain what I found wrong with it. Spoilers from here on, boys. So we all know why we wanted to watch this. It's because of this guy right here, Longzhu. I mean, he's literally in the title of the movie. Long is easily the strongest aspect of the film for me. He starts out very cynically minded, and by bonding with Din over the course of the film, slowly realizes that not all riches are wealth and gold. It's very simple, but in this story it's executed very well, and it works. Especially with Long's backstory, which adds a lot to his character. I love the dynamic between Din and Long too. When they're together, you can really see their chemistry grow, and it works very well. The animation is okay, if not a little unpolished at certain points. Honestly, the way it looks kinda reminds me of a Despicable Me Illumination film with the squeaky clean and simplistic character designs. That's not exactly a compliment because aside from the first Despicable Me, those movies are quite, well, shit, to put it lightly. But it's just something I noticed. I will say though that something this movie does that I rarely see any other films doing is there's no love relationship between the main characters. Din's friendship with Lena is strictly platonic, which is actually really great and very refreshing to see. Yes, big movie production studios, a relationship between a male and female character can be platonic. I know, shocking, right? There's a certain visual gag I thought was pretty funny, where the rich-looking store is called No Money, and then the poor-looking store is called No Money. I thought it was pretty good. And yeah, that's about where my praises end. But before I get into my main gripes with the film, I'll just go over some surface-level stuff that I guess you could consider nitpicks. A lot of people have pointed out the similarities between this and Aladdin, which I've only seen clips of, so I can't really confirm or deny its legitimacy. But it's kind of funny how the main character is called Din, Aladdin, you know, and he wishes to be a princeling.
Hey, can you make me a prince? Now, is that an official wish? Say the magic words. Genie, I wish for you to make me a prince.
All right! Yo, yo, woo. A wish! Why didn't you just say so?
Yeah, I wish to be a princeling.
All right, here we go. Stand back, and it shall be so.
If Mr. Wang didn't want the henchmen to know about the teapots and what it does, then why would he leave a scroll out with all that information on it facing towards the henchmen? Like, if it's that important, just put that shit in a drawer so it's not laid out in the open for, you know, anyone to see. This kind of makes Wang look like a dumbass. I thought Din's mother was absolutely awful. I mean, she's not the worst character in the film, but she's definitely down there. "Oh, Din, I'm your mother. You can tell me the truth." Then proceeds to accuse Din of drinking alcohol and starts acting all violent. Also, in one scene, she beats Din with a wooden spoon, and in another throws the assignment at him so hard that it causes a glass-shattering sound effect.
Look, I just...
Just what?
I was just doing a little...
What? I was just doing...
Wow, what a likable character. I'll admit this next one is a huge nitpick that can apply to any film, but fuck it. When we first meet Lena, she sticks up for Din by throwing something at this kid, and then suddenly, she appears right behind him. Okay, animated movie or not, it's fucking bullshit whenever this shows up in a movie, because it implies that that character can teleport. It's okay if your character is some kind of god or has powers, but it just leaves me to wonder why she didn't use this during the movie. Kinda makes that car ride on the way to your dying father a bit pointless, huh? If Mr. Wang was going bankrupt, they could have just lived off Lena's career as a model. I don't know, it seems like she's doing pretty well for herself. I thought the whole Dan subplot was cringy as fuck. It comes across as like really forced, and it gets resolved in about, I don't know, 4 minutes.
You know what? You're just not who I thought you were.
Wait! Sorry for acting like such a jerk.
Apology accepted.
What?
Yeah, it kind of seems like the only reason this is here is to get us from the date to Din's town. But you know what would have been better? Let's say if Din actually gets to introduce himself in this scene before he gets cut off by her father. Lena is happy and surprised, maybe even hugs Din, but then her father comes in and is calling, and she's like, "Quick, Din, hide!" Then, after a tense moment, Din has to leave, but then the next day, Din uses the rest of his prince wish to get back into Lena's house, and is like, "Hey, do you want to see the old town?" And then of course Lena would be like, "Nah, I have this date in like 2 hours." But then Din's like, "Nah, it won't take too long, please." And then he does that smile that he's always doing throughout the film. Lena could agree, and then they set out to revisit the old town, but then the villains show up to ambush them, and then they have this whole crazy epic escape scene. They meet up with Din's mother, they have a good time, and let's tie up the whole date thing with the lipstick dude. When Lena and Din are on the roof, her father calls and is like, "Hey, you missed your date, where the hell are you?" And then Lena is forced to leave. Boom! No more cliche lying subplot. I mean, sure, it's not great, but it's better than watching this, "Oh, you're not the person I thought you were" subplot that I've seen a million times. But anyway, that's just the minor stuff. So I guess now's the part where I go over my main issues with this film, and why I couldn't give it a higher rating than I did. Oh no. So the biggest problem with this film for me, I think, is its script. It's filled with plot holes and conveniences, so you just have to kind of accept certain things happening without ever thinking about it. Because the second I started to think about what I was seeing and why it was happening, the movie started to break and fall apart. This wouldn't be much of a problem if it only occurred once or twice, but no. This happens multiple times throughout the movie. So here's a section I like to call plot holes, more like assholes. So in this universe, it's established that we're in modern day China, and phones are a thing that exist, but apparently social media doesn't? So I did some research and googled what apps are allowed in China, and while things like YouTube and Twitter are banned, there's still other China-exclusive social media apps that are huge in China, and are used by over 500 million people. So it's fair to assume that Din could have at least tried to contact Lena through social media. I understand that this can be refuted by saying, well, Lena's a big model now and probably doesn't run her own social media, which yes, that's fair to say. However, there's no information in the film that can prove that either Lena isn't in control of it, or that the thought even occurred to Din to at least try to contact her. Which kinda sucks because this is a huge fucking detail that could make or break this film. Whether you agree or disagree, we can only assume off what little details there are here, and either way, this movie kind of fails to explain. When Din shows up to the rubbled houses for the first time, there's no guards, sign, or any kind of blockage to stop him from getting in. But then when the henchmen come looking for the teapot later, all of a sudden there's a bunch of guards there who say the area is off limits? Huh? The surprise villain and his motivation is weak as fuck. He's probably one of the dumbest antagonists I've ever seen in a film. Like, he wished for a hand that could make things into solid gold, but then it also works on himself. In that case, why wouldn't the gold start spreading to the rest of his body as soon as he wished for it? That just it just doesn't make sense to me. Oh, and lastly, here's my favorite one. Are you ready for this? So it's okay for Din to do his own flushed away moment here, and he's fine. When the henchmen fall from that tall building, they don't get any broken bones, and it turns out they're fine. But then, when Mr. Wang falls from a high place, it results in his death? What?! Oh well, I guess Mr. Wang just forgot to buy PhD Flopper. Wait. No one's gonna get that joke, why did I even say that? Why are you doing this to me? I just wanna like you, but I can't. But CK, the plot holes don't really matter. This movie has a lot of heart and effort put into it. Yes, it does. I know it does, but I can't give these plot holes a pass because they seriously hindered my enjoyment of the film. Whenever there was an emotional scene, I felt nothing because everything leading up to that moment was just devoid of logical consistency. Riot and the Last Dragon had me in tears by the end of it, because despite my issues with the film, everything else felt solid and earned by the end of it. I just wasn't able to feel that same way with Wish Dragon. But man, if I can be honest, even without the plot holes, the film itself just doesn't strike me as something worth watching again. The animation is decent, but the story is so predictable and cliched, and the music was generic as fuck too. Aside from that one scene where Lena reconnects with the neighborhood, that was okay. But yeah, at the end of the day, to me, Wish Dragon is a serviceable film that'll please most people, but the more I think about it, the worse it gets. It's still a dragon movie, and I'm glad it exists and that people really love it, but I feel like I've been led to believe it's better than what it actually is. I just wish it was a better movie. So yeah, hopefully you guys can understand where I'm coming from with this. I really wanted to like this one, but I just have to be honest. Anyways, I'm Cicaden, please leave a like and subscribe, leave your own thoughts on this in the comments below, and the next Q&A will be at 500 subscribers, and I give Wish Dragon a 5 out of 10. Originally it was a 6, but now after thinking about it more, it's a 5. Bye!